Okay, guys, it's Matt Piper here at work on a Saturday morning. That's always fun. But I'm going to make a video. This is going to be my first attempt at putting multiple video clips together in an editor and at some points in time throw some effects in there like time lapse, just to make it sure it goes a little bit quicker and it's not a super long video, like an hour long, stuff like that. So minus the bowl, this is what we're going to be making today. Also minus the stem because or the acrylic piece, because I forgot the acrylic I'm going to be putting on the pipe. I do have a piece of acrylic at home, I just forgot it. So that being said, the pipe I make today is going to be the one that we're giving away that on for the 9th. So if you're not subscribed to that, if you're not subscribed to my channel and you want to win a pipe, get on that. Also, if you are, spread the word. Let's get somebody a brand new pipe right before the holidays. Got a couple of them going out today, so I'm sure you'll check them out. You know who they are when you get them. So anyway, let's give this a shot. Okay, so now what I've come to do is I found it easy just to use the drill press, and I like putting just a hole through it. There's a couple I did slots, but the slots is a much bigger setup and it's not always accurate. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll set this up right in here, and I'll just drill one through hole at 1/4 inch all the way through. So once I set that up and drill that, we are set to go with actually putting the aluminum in here, because you want the aluminum in here when you drill the hole for the the rod, because that way it'll line up perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and give that a go now. Okay, so now what I'll do, because this is actually doesn't really fit in there nicely, because it's not ground stock or anything like that, what I'll do is I use this press. And I'll go ahead and I'll just sit it in there, like that, as close as possible, and I'll just give it a nice little press, that way it's a nice, tight fit. And when I hit the plastic, I know it is flat. Look at that. So we're getting closer to being done. Let's go move on to the next step. So the next step I like doing is putting the stem in it. So what I'll do is I'll actually take something at a 90-degree angle, square, and I'll set it up like this. And that way I know it's 90 degrees to this. So I have this little square, a little starret square. It's perfect for this. And what I'll do is I'll just make a crude little mark at a 1/2 inch. I'll measure out to a 1/2 inch. Lock that up, roughly say, okay, this is where I want to be. And you know what? I could actually make it a little bit. I'm going to make it 4. Gives it just a little bit more for the reservoir. There we go. Roughly 4. So I can say, okay, right about there. I can push into the plastic a little bit. So now I have a tiny little mark. You can't even see it on here, but I can see it. So now I know where I want to drill this hole. So I'll go ahead and I will do that now. Okay, so now that we have the hole drilled for the shank, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll set it straight up in here. I'll do it there. And what I'll do is I'll tap it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. So I completely forgot to hit play, but I went ahead and I threw it in the thing and I tapped it. Can't really see, there you go. So I just stuck it in the vise and I used this and I tapped it right through. So it goes down to roughly where the shank will go in. That way it doesn't interfere with anything. So that being said, let's just go ahead and move on to the next step. So the next step for me is making the tenon. So I'll go ahead and take a long piece of aluminum. Let's do that right now. Stick it in here. Take this sucker up. I'm going to use this to tap the OD. Just out of experience, I know how far I pretty much need to go down. So, now the tenon is tapped. So if you come over here, real fast, what I'll do is I'll go over to the buffer and I'll just hit the edges. So I hit the edges, and then I check to make sure that this goes in. But normally what I would do to measure how long we need the tenon to be, I would just go ahead and see where the hole of the shank is, and I would put it to the top of the shank so the holes are in the middle, and then it's good. This one doesn't have a shank, so we gotta do it a little bit differently. So let's actually measure to see how deep this bowl is. Wow, it's about 2.5-inch bowl. It's pretty impressive. Okay, so that means 2.5 inches up from the base of this. So we are going to go, okay, not 2.5 inches. Oh, shoot, that would have been bad. The overall length is 288. So 2.88 minus 2.5 equals. So let's make this about 1/2 inch. You make it about 1/2 inch, you'll be safe. Yeah, that looks good. About 1/2 inch from the top of this. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, and I'm not going to show this, but I'm just going to go ahead and just take it to the saw and cut on the line. So I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, before I go ahead and drill any of the holes, I like to check this and make sure this fits. And it is fairly tight, but that's only because I didn't run a 1/4-inch reamer through this yet. So, I use a center drill to go ahead and just drill the hole. But then I'll always ream it. And leave it to me not to have any of my tools ready when I'm making a video. So I'll just hand ream it. I'll just go like this, and I'll just run the reamer in here just to clean out any of the excess. There you go. That's what we're looking at. So, looking in there, I'm actually not super happy with the length. I'm thinking we might have to make the length a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and redo all of this real fast. And I'll just make this a little bit longer than what I have it now. Let's see, I'll make it about 1 inch long. It's only about 800 now, so a couple more hundred isn't going to affect anything too much. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll jump back in with you guys once everything's actually caught up to speed. Alright, so I went ahead and redid that. So now it's, overall is 1 inch long. So let's see how long. Perfect. I think that looks good. If anything, it could be a little bit shorter, but I'd rather err on the bigger side than the smaller side. So what I'm going to do now is gotta drill my little through holes. So what I'll do is where the red dot is, I'll drill a little through hole, and once I get the through hole drill, I'll take it over to the lathe and I'll drill a hole on the back side all the way up to the through hole. Now that way, when you're smoking, smoke goes in the sides and ash doesn't just fall straight down into the hole. I think that's the best method. I've tried both ways. I really wasn't a fan of the other way. So let's go ahead and I think I might just skip that video because it's like a quick, it only takes a few seconds to do, so there's really no point of setting the camera up multiple times just to do it. So I'll come back and meet up with you guys once that's done. Alright guys, so I got this drilled. It's got a through hole. So pretty much you can unscrew this at any time and clean the inside of this out. So we got that. So now it's coming to fruition. So the last thing we need to do is do the stem. So what we got, because we work in a machine shop, this is our pipe bender. So I'll show you how exactly this works. I have a little bit of pipe left. So when you're bending a pipe, you always want something either most of the time it's outside. You just want something outside of it. So you get these. These are for bending your pipe. It's like, it acts like an exoskeleton, and this protects it from being bent. So let's see if I can set this up. So pretty much, I'll try to see this. So you set it to your desired length, and this goes ahead and bends this around. So let's see if I can set this up to where you can see this. Probably won't be able to see it that well. Yeah, why not? There we go. So I'll go ahead and I'll do this, and I will bend up the metal. And it really does not take a whole lot of effort at all. Most of the time it's just trial and error. Is this a perfect 90-degree angle? No, it's not. So let's just go in and we'll bend it a little bit more. So let's check that. That looks good. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and these lengths are not what I want it to be, but close. So I'm going to want to cut, because I want it to be close to the pipe or the bowl. So I'm going to have to cut a lot of this off, but I'd rather have more material on here and waste a little bit, which it's really not waste. I still use it. And also probably I might cut a little bit off the top. We'll see. Maybe depending on who the winner is, I'll leave the length the way it is. If they want it cut down, then I'll cut it down. If they don't, then I'll leave it long. But let me go ahead and cut that off and put it together. Alright, so the last little bit is just putting it together and cleaning it up. So it's just tension fit in there. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just kind of twist it and push at the same time. And it does start to get tight, and I can actually see it in the aluminum right now. So I think we're going to leave it there for right now. You can screw this bulb on. That's what you have. This is not the stem that's going on it, but I did have a piece of acrylic laying around on a different pipe that's going out today. So I'm thinking, yeah, definitely cut it down to about here, but oh yeah, it's definitely a good draw. So that's the pipe. So this pipe is specifically for the contest. We're good to go. Just gonna have to decide whether or not you want to cut this down, you know, and how far down you can cut it. It's up to you, or you can leave it the length. I'm personally okay with the length. The longer the stem, the cooler the smoke is going to be. But that being said, I definitely think probably about right here. And I do have an acrylic stem. It's not blue, it's amber colored. So that's what you'll get. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like the video, subscribe, spread the word. Next Saturday is going to be the giveaway. And we're going to only do like the video responses until about the 16th, so 1 week. That way, Monday, on the 18th, I can get it shipped. That way I'll get to whoever wins it on time. So let's get this thing moving, guys. Peace out.